Hey everybody, welcome to How to Graph Exponential Functions Part 2. This is Nicholas JMV, and today we're going to talk about y equals b to the x, but our b value is going to be between 0 and 1. This is what we call exponential decay. So this is the general form of the graph, okay? Domain and range still stay the same, all real numbers for the domain, 0 to infinity. And for the range, because it's above the axis, this is a decreasing function, okay? The horizontal asymptote remains the same, and the key points are the same, except for in this case, they're actually going to change from the last example. So instead of having 1b, they actually switch places. So you'll see what I mean by that. Like, when we have 1 to the b, that's actually going to be over here now because of the fraction that we're going to have here. It's going to take the reciprocal. So it's really interesting to see. So let's just look at one example that I have, okay? So we're going to graph y equals 1/3 to the x. There's what I mean. It's between 0 and 1. So even if I put 4/3 here, that's still growth. This number b has to be between 0 and 1 for us to have decay. The domain, if I wanted to draw the domain here of my function, if I wrote it down here, is it all real numbers, okay? And the range here is from 0 to infinity, okay? So, and it's not including 0 because it's an asymptote. So when I graph this function, okay, there's, again, a lot of ways you can do this. My b value is 1/3. So again, do you remember the key points? 0, 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot that 0, 1 right there. And then you had 1b. Now this is what I mean, it switches. 1b, when b is greater than 1, it was that nice big number, 1 to the third, 1 to the fourth, if you saw, or 1 comma 4, 1 comma 3, if you did the last video when b was 3 and b was 4 when I graphed those two. Now it's 1/3, so you're going to have 1 and 1/3, which is down here. Okay, when I do -1, remember, -1 comma 1 over b, well, 1 divided by 1/3 is 3. So you're going to have 1 and 3 here. And so here's my graph. I'm going to just turn it so I can try to do this a little more accurately. There's our graph of our exponential function. Y equals 1/3 to the x. Okay, we got our domain and range there. And again, you can also use a table of values. Always, no matter what you graph in pre-cal here, we can use a table of values. You could have used -1, 0, 1. 1/3 to the 1 is 1/3. Anything to the 0 power is 1. And then 1/3 to the -1, the properties say flip it. So this would be 3. So you can use a table of values. You can try to remember the key point idea. It's up to you, but here's the graph that function. So if you have any questions or comments, type them below, and we will see you next time. Thanks.